Hey Hustle Nation, this is Steli FT with Close.io, and in today's video, I'm gonna answer the question that many founders, many small business owners have, and it's the question, should we be doing cold calling for our business? Could cold calling truly work for us? Are we missing out on not doing it? Do we need to start with it, experiment with it? Is cold calling right for my or for our business? I was just asked this question a few moments ago, and I thought I'd just hit record and share some of the things that I've taught to the CEO that was asking me this question, because I thought this is going to be probably useful to many others and many people out there that are wondering the same thing, right? So what are some ways to think about cold calling? And we're going to link to a lot of resources here because I've written about this in various places, and we're going to link up to this to make it a real resource. But cold calling, first of all, cold calling is neither good or bad. It's neither the solution to all problems, and nor is it the source of all problems and all that is bad in business. It is just a tool. I might be considered a cold calling guru, but I don't love cold calling. I don't hate it. I know it's a useful tool in my toolbox, and it can enable incredible growth for my business. It can enable me to create a lot of value in the world. Or I can use that tool to destroy value and to run my business into the ground, right? So if you know how to use it, it can be incredibly useful. No, cold calling isn't dead. It is getting less efficient in many different areas, but it's still alive and well. Thousands, millions of businesses around the world are still growing and generating an insane amount of revenue through cold calling. So it's not dead. It just doesn't work the way it used to, right? And I'm not going to get into too many of those details. So I'm going to give you just a short list of highly tactical questions to ask to figure out very quickly if you should entertain the idea of cold calling. Now, cold calling can always be a useful tool in the super early days of your company to do customer development, to do exploration, to gain more insights, to be closer to your prospects and your potential customers, to understand them better, to get more information from them, right? So in the early days, it doesn't really matter if it would scale or not down the line. I would pick up the phone and call. I would go in person and talk. I would do a lot of things that don't scale, and we'll link up to a blog post where we talk about all the things we did that didn't scale that helped us grow Close.io in the early days. So I think in the early days, you should absolutely use the phone and call people and talk to them, irregardless if it scales long-term or not, just to gain more learnings and be closer to your customers. That being said, here's two easy questions you can ask yourself to quickly determine if you should explore the idea of doing cold calling in your business or not. Very, very simply. The first question is, do my customers buy through the phone? Are they being cold called today, and do they buy services and products through the phone when they're being cold called? And question number two is, do my competitors in my market currently successfully use cold calling as a strategy to grow their business? Both these are really answering the same core question. Is cold calling a channel that will be successfully allowing me to reach my customer and sell to them, right? So how do you answer these two questions? Well, the first question with is my buyer being cold called, and do they buy sometimes that way? Well, you hopefully have some customers, or you know some potential buyers, ideal customer profile type people out there in the world. Reach out to them and ask them, survey them. Ask them, hey, how did you buy, if they're currently using a competitor's product, how did you hear about the competitor? How did you buy that product when you bought it 3 years ago, right? Even if you're unhappy with it today, what made you buy it back then? How did you discover it? Have you ever been cold called? Are you being cold called? I know that most of them are probably horrible calls and not calls you enjoy, but have you ever bought anything by being cold called? Just survey your customers, survey the people that are potential customers, and learn from them. But then the flip coin is learn from your competitors, right? Is any company in this business selling to this type of customer succeeding with a strategy? And how do you do that? Well, very easily, easier than you think. And I've created a blog post about this and a video. We'll link up to this here with more details technically on the step-by-step process on how to do it. Well, you just call up your competitors. You call up your competitors on their sales hotline. You'd be surprised. You talk usually and get a direct line to a very junior sales rep. You don't have to lie to them who you are. You don't have to make up any kind of stories. All you tell them is, hey, I'm very interested in your product and service, which you are. I need to know a little bit more about your company to know how credible you are and kind of how long you're going to be around. Let me ask you, how big is the business? How many people? How well are you funded and capitalized? And just ask a bunch of questions. You'll be surprised if you do that with authority. Most junior sales reps will just give you all the answers. They will imply and fill in the blanks and make you a very big, potentially important customer, and they will want to serve you and answer all your questions, even without you claiming that you are. So eventually you just ask them, hey, how do you grow the business? And how are you going to be growing the business? Are you currently winning most customers through cold calling and cold emails and outreach? I see this a lot in SaaS right now. Are you guys using any other strategies? How do you do it today? And you'd be surprised, I'm telling you, ask and it shall be given. When you ask them this question, they will answer. More often than not, they will tell you exactly, oh yeah, we tried cold calling, but it never really worked for us. Or yeah, we're doing this. We have a big team that does that. We have about 25 people that are on the phones, and it's been very successful. And we also do PR, and we also do all these other things. They'll just tell you right out. If your customer today buys through cold calls, if your competitors are selling through cold calls, well then the answer is yes, you probably is an important word here. You probably should be doing cold calling. It might be that you differentiate yourself and you sell differently by not doing cold calls, by doing something else. But at least it's a very strong signal. You should explore and learn more about it. Actually, and you're not just looking for success. If your competitors are telling you that they're not cold calling, you want to learn why. Did they try this? They probably tried it. Why didn't it work? If all the prospects and customers you talk to tell you they've never bought anything in their life through cold calling, ask them why. Is it because nobody ever cold calls them, which could imply that nobody can ever reach them because they don't pick up the phone? Or do they say, oh, I'm being cold called all day long, but these pitches suck and these people on the phone suck, so I never give anybody the time of the day? Which might indicate that they're very easily reachable, which is, as we're going to explore further, a huge component of making cold calling work is that you reach people, but just most people are really bad at selling. And if you can put together a strong sales team, you might crush it. So the first two questions you need to ask is, are my customers buying through cold calling and are my competitors selling through cold calling? And that's a very fast way to get to an answer. Should we explore cold calling for our business? Yes or no? Obviously, after that, there's a bunch more things that you need to figure out, right? Skill set. Do we have anybody internally that has any experience with cold calling? Do we think that we could be good at this and competitive at it? Based on everything that we might be able to do, is this the thing that has the biggest potential for growth? Is this a priority right now to even explore? Because you're going to have to invest a little bit of time in it to figure out if it works or not. A lot of founders have tons and tons of anxiety. A lot of business owners, a lot of people that are, if you're asking yourself, should we be doing cold calling and you're not sure, it usually points to the fact that you're not that experienced. So you probably are also filled with anxiety around the topic of doing sales calls at all. I have a bunch of tips, tricks, and hacks on how to get over that anxiety. We'll link to this in this blog post and in this video. So there's a bunch of things you can do to overcome that. And then when you think about getting started, it's really easy. All you're trying to do when you start doing cold calls is you write down a bare bones script and you think about, who am I calling? What is their life and their life experience? When they're being interrupted by the phone, they pick up and they try to figure out, who the hell is this and what do they want from me? What do I have to say to be a empathetic, real, authentic human being that can connect with the other human being on the phone? And again, tons and tons of links in the notes of this video that I will point you step by step to everything you need to learn and read if you decide that you need to do cold calling. So you need to put together a quick script, a little bit of objection management to be prepared. You need to find sources for leads and for phone numbers, and we'll link to an article on how to do that. And then you are going to want to get started, and all you want to do in version 1 is you want to create a funnel, right? Not the perfect funnel, just a funnel. I'm dialing numbers, I'm reaching some people, I'm qualifying some of them I demo, and then hopefully at some point somebody I close. All you're trying to do is, at the beginning when you do the first test on cold calling, is trying to see, can we close one customer through cold calling? First you go, can we reach one person? Then you go, can we demo one person? Can we qualify one person? Then you go, can we demo one person? And then finally you answer the question, can we sell and close a person and a customer? And once you've established a funnel, no matter how horrible it is, it's a beautiful thing. Most people will never be able to do that. If you establish a funnel, no matter what the numbers look like, how horrible and horrendous they are, Now you can take a look and try to fix this and improve on it. I have an article that I'm going to share in terms of what the benchmark should be and where you should optimize step by step once you have a first funnel. First thing you do is you improve the reach rates, and the qualifying rates, and then the closing rates. But that is much further down the line. In this video, all I want to do really share is the simple question, answer the simple question, how do I know if I should explore cold calling? And then if at the end of this video you're thinking, oh shit, I probably should, or we probably should, or once you go out and do a little bit of research with your competitors and your customers and you come back to the answer yes, come back to this video and read through the articles. It's going to be a step-by-step process of what you should do, right? Here's how you come up with a script. Here's how you come up with an objection management document. Here's how you come up with a lead list. Here's how you overcome your anxiety and you put yourself in the right state of mind. Here's how you make these calls. Here's how you follow up on them. Here's how you generate a funnel. Here's the benchmarks you should have. And here's how you improve on your cold calling funnel and benchmarks and make it a scalable and successful endeavor for your business. All right, that's it for me. I hope this was useful and valuable. Please share any kind of feedback, thoughts, best practices, things you've learned, other tactics you've used in the comment section. Go to blog.close.io and subscribe to a blog. And if you want to get in touch with me personally, just shoot me an email, stelly@close.io. Any questions you have about cold calling, always happy to hear them and answer them as good as I can. Let's go out there and let's crush it.